Hello, guys, and welcome to the Buzzwick Podcast. Today, it's just the two of us. We have
Tyler
and Simon. We're your hosts, and today we're just going to be introducing the podcast and getting into some of our programming and how that's going to work and what's going on right now in New Brunswick.
So basically, we're going to do several segments, some sports stuff, meme stuff. Simon has a nice song segment he's doing in the podcast here. And basically what it is just what our perspective is like on the world events right now. I don't know. That's basically that's
just hanging out, having a chat. Yeah. So that's our plans. We do have an Instagram. It's new_Buzzwick_podcast on Instagram.
There you go.
And the links will be down in the description below. And we also have a Discord where you guys can join and send your ideas in. So that's cool too. Also, we have we're able to let you guys listen into our recording. So right now we have two people listening in. We got Matt and Jared, some buddies of ours, and so let's get into the news, Tyler.
All right. So, should we talk about the big thing right now?
The big situation that everybody's worried about.
Yeah, let's start with it. All right.
So
as everybody knows, COVID-19 is running rampant around everywhere, really.
Except for here. And what's that, Tyler?
Yes, except for here, and it's really good. We're lifting restrictions. There are only, what?
I think we have 118 cases, and I think it's under 7 active.
It is under 7 active. I saw that a few days ago.
And
I
this
see
is the
114 recovered, so that would make it 4.
4 active cases, yes.
Active cases.
This is the 11th day in a row without any new cases, so that is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So right now you're allowed your 2-family bubble, 2 households, so that's great. We're still maintaining our social distancing, 6 feet away, but we are planning on the next phases or our government's planning on the next phases of getting back to some sort of new normal.
Oh, yes. And
I'd say that
we see other places trying to lift restrictions too, and they're meeting some backlash, but I don't think there's been much backlash here so far. Everybody's been handling the situation great here in the province.
I would have
that
to.
I've talked to.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Everybody's kind of chilled out with it now and kind of getting used to it, but I think we're taking things a little bit slower and getting back used to it compared to other places like Georgia. If you ever wanted to go bowling, go to Georgia right now because they can go bowling, which is crazy considering how the states are doing right now with their numbers and stuff. But
especially New York.
Yeah, but I'd say the biggest thing is schooling. And how do you find that different, Tyler?
Well, yeah, school is certainly it's certainly been a weird thing. All the online schooling, we've been using Microsoft Teams. I'm sure many other schools have been using Zoom and all those systems there. And so really, it's hard to keep up sometimes. It's hard to stay focused on your schoolwork, especially at home. You have nobody really to prod you along. And there's most teachers are very lenient on due dates, so that's very nice. And you do all the assignments, you get the credit. If not, you get enrolled. I mean, it's a nice system that everybody passes no matter what. So, what do you think, Simon?
This actually, for me personally, other than 2 courses that are math-based, being my physics and my pre-calc, obviously, which you're in that class.
Yes.
Yeah, that's quite the class. I find that harder to learn at home than at school, but all my other classes are going swimmingly well.
Nice.
Swimmingly, yeah. We're just flowing. And I feel like I'm happier to do the work here rather than at school, other than those 2 math-based courses.
I'm gonna say I'm lagging a bit behind this week. I haven't done much.
Well, I just handed in our math assignment, so.
Oh, really? I haven't even started, so.
It's
something.
pretty easy, just a heads up. And
that's good.
Yeah, and that brings us into our sports segment. I just wanted to introduce it here. So we just covering sports that interest us. So for me, it's mostly hockey, and might dabble into the curling here and there. But other than that, I don't really keep up on too many
Curling.
other sports. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I have a good knowledge into the baseball realm and a little bit football.
Yeah.
So we have some of the main sports covered here.
Yeah, but then again, this podcast is all from our perspective, and it's how we want to run it. So we'll run it how we want to run it. Hey, so first off, I'd like to shout out two locals who are big in the NHL. Yes, Tyler, you may have heard them before. We got a big congratulations to Jake Allen. Buddy is from Fredericton, absolutely killed it last year in the NHL. I got some of his stats here from this year actually. He's on St. Louis. He's a goalie. And yeah, they won their cup last year in 2019 after, what is it, like 50 years or something like that. Big turnaround year for them.
Time, yeah.
And I'm just going to...
They were down, right at the bottom, and then they worked their way up to the top.
Yeah, everybody... Whew,
beat those nasty Bruins, huh?
More on that later. But here, I just want to give you some stats. So this is from before NHL paused. Obviously,
he was having a really good year this year.
Yeah, he was. Even though Jordan Billington is their starting goalie and Jake Allen's their backup. Although for years, Jake Allen, for I think 4 years, he was their starting until Bennington came along, and who is also having an amazing career so far. So he started March 11th against Anaheim. .963 save percentage. Again, against Chicago with 29 shots against. He had a shutout that game. Against Dallas, .903. .947 on February 21st. So he's had quite the career this year.
Yes, and, a coach we'd like to shout out would be a former St. John Sea Dog coach, Gerard Gallant, who took Vegas to the playoffs, and he's since been fired, but it really was tremendous how he was able to coach that team, the expansion team, nonetheless, to the first year Stanley Cup. And
yeah, the finals. Ovi got
finals.
Who was it? Ovi? Yeah. Ovi got his cup that year, or was it?
Ovi did, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, finally. So Gerard Gallant, Memorial Cup, 2 league champions here in the Q. Local. I just gotta congratulate him. He's had a terrific time in the NHL. I mean, Don Cherry. Pretty much coaches got their lifespan, which is only about 5 years per team in the NHL. So it was definitely probably his time to go. I thought it was a bit of a
questionable decision when they gave him the boot there. Vegas was not in a bad position at all. And I don't know. Well, we'll have to see if the NHL does resume what happens with Vegas. And yes.
They do have
I'd like to shout out one more player.
Ooh.
You might not know this man. He was St. Johnner. Matt Stairs. He was a baseball player.
Okay, yeah.
He had a very good career as a pinch hitter. I'm pretty sure he holds the record for pinch hit home runs. I will double check, but I'll tell you some of his stats right now. He was a .265 career hitter here, or .662, sorry, with 265 home runs.
Nice.
So he was certainly a power hitter, and he had a 14.2 WAR, wins or above replacement. Yes, Matt Stairs does have the most pinch hit home runs with 23. He played for 12 different teams since '92, apparently it says, and he had an OPS of 832 in his career and managed to steal 30 bags while netting 199 RBIs. So certainly a good career for him. He played for a ton of teams. And I'm pretty sure he won the World Series with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Ooh.
And he's known very much in Fredericton. That's where he went. He was born in St. John, but spent most of his youth in Fredericton. So where he went to Fredericton High.
Oh, nice. Oh, Fredericton High. Okay. Yeah, we've been there a time or two.
Yes.
Even though this isn't directly sports related, I'd like to mention our what we are doing in Minecraft right now. What are we building, Tyler?
Well, we are building the harbor station, or should I say the TV station in Minecraft. You know, it's not perfect, but
I think it's going well. I mean, it's nice to
it's
build a
all right
local
so
landmark.
far.
I don't know if you call it a
Uh,
landmark, but it's a pretty big staple here
yeah, we've been
in our
working on it for the
area.
past week, I'd say, and it's coming along a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
here and there.
Well, you touched on it earlier. NHL season predictions. Where are they gonna go? So I've seen things where they play a week or two of regular season and then move on to playoff games just to get the players warmed up, starting in June or July and finishing in August, and then move right into October and with the 2021 season. I've also seen playing out the rest of the 14 games this season into August, and then in August we have our playoffs. What do you think is going to happen here?
Really, I don't know. It's very unpredictable because, you know, the conditions everywhere else on the globe are not the same here. So cases in some places are still going up, right? Mm-hmm. So you really got to figure where they're going to play. Are they going to be fans? What are the teams going to do? Are they going to stay away from everybody? Where are they going to stay? Lodging, like all that stuff, right? They got to make sure that nobody gets in contact with anybody. They got to have a direct line from a hotel or wherever they're staying to the arena without coming in contact with anybody. So, and, you know, it really comes up to how much cities are they going to use, how many games they're going to play in a day in that arena, because, you know, it can't play, I'd say 3 maximum here. One like morning, maybe about 12, one 4 o'clock, and one night game, I'd say.
And I think especially if they did it on the East Coast, that would work out well.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams on the East Coast there, and that big megalopolis they got.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's really weird though what they're gonna do here. We don't really know. But I've heard there could be a 1-24 playoff bracket.
Oh yes, I'd like to see that.
Which would result in, I think Boston would play.
Boston would play Montreal, wouldn't they?
Montreal, I'm pretty sure.
Montreal's in 24th. In the first,
first seed to 24th seed, and then so that'd certainly be interesting to see, and you'd have to figure out how the playoff would be formatted with the best of. Would it just be single elimination, best of 3, best of 5? Would it go up each round? Like, that's really what you got to think.
Best of 7 would take a while if you had top 24 teams or whatever. Because you'd have 12 series, right? So that would take several weeks to boil that down, because
to shorten it, maybe single elimination games here.
Yeah, especially for the first round.
I'm not sure how people would think, because that is a lot of hockey. You know, you got to factor in the Players Association. Are they going to be all right with this? Are the players going to be okay? Like, it's not really just the time management here. It's also the players, because, you know, you don't want to strike like what happened back in 2012, 2013, 2011, one of those years.
2012, we lost the first half of the 2012-2013 season, and then back in 2004, 2005, we lost that entire season. Like you said, you know, low contact, whatever. Obviously, they're not going to have any fans, but I didn't think about it. There's like 100 people per team minimum for staffing. There's not just the guys on the bench. You got your coaching staff, you got your trainers, you got your equipment managers, you got
under wraps.
Yeah, you got, you know, just facility managers in general, right? So I've definitely seen reports on where they're going to play and stuff like that, but I don't know. That's kind of up in the air. Gary Bettman does, and his whoever's on that level of decision definitely has time to decide, because we don't start the next season till October, where the MLB is in a different position right now.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of hockey here, we missed a very big important figure in New Brunswick hockey here, Willie O'Ree.
Oh yes.
First African American in the NHL. Broke the color barrier. He would say that.
I do remember that.
Yes, he got He only had 14 points in the NHL, I think, is what it says here. But still, he made it. He's a member
Wendell
of the
Clark.
Boston Bruins.
I believe Wendell Clark's also from our area.
Wendell Clark?
Yeah, I think so.
Let me do a quick Google search of that. Kelvington? Where's Kelvington? Saskatchewan. Wendell Clark is not.
No, Jones. What's his name? Jones?
Randy Jones.
Randy Jones, yes. Randy Jones.
How did you get Wendell Clark from Randy Jones?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Randy Jones.
He was the first one that popped in my head there.
Randy Jones from Quispam here.
Yes, very local.
Quispam Sis, so...
I don't even know how I get that messed up.
I don't know either, man. Yeah, Randy Jones, he's remembered for his a hit on Patrice Bergeron here, the Boston Bruins forwards, when he boarded him, and Bergeron was knocked unconscious. And Jones was got a 5-minute major and a misconduct here, and he got a 2-game suspension for that hit. So it really, if you watch the replay, you can find it. Randy Jones, Patrice Bergeron hit. You'd probably search that up and find it. Something similar to that, and you'll see it was definitely not intentional. It sort of just happened, and it really sucks doing in the position. You kind of feel bad for him, but you also feel bad for Patrice Bergeron in that situation too. Because he certainly got decked.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's that. I don't know if you've seen the recent news of the MLB, have you?
Well, I've heard that there is some news that a lot of MLB senior officials are very certain that there will be baseball here in 2020. So, What were you going to say?
I do have some figures here that I saw this morning before class. So they're looking at... So before today, I saw that they're looking at Arizona because of the amount of arenas, and you and I have discussed that in the past.
Yep, spring training.
Yes, all the spring training, and then they also have their MLB
training
team there.
Facilities. And, of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yep. Another thing is they're looking at June 2nd or 4th to open it up. So what they do is they restrict the season to 80 to 100 games, somewhere in that range, for this season, and they're looking at 20 states to play their games in right now. So I don't know how that boils down with the states, but certainly they're going to have a shortened season because I believe it's like 80 something games.
162 games.
162 games. So it's a long season for any professional sport, really, considering NHL is only 82 games.
Basically half.
Yeah, exactly, and they take 8 months to play that out. So,
well, I don't think it'd be 8 months, but
for NHL,
I see for NHL.
Yeah, they take October to March, and then April's
NHL
playoffs. So
yes.
I don't know if that's just TV scheduling or what.
It's because NHL is the hockey is a much more tolling sport than baseball.
That is
true. Hockey's a contact sport. Baseball is not really considered that.
Yeah, that is very true. But time-wise...
I'm looking at a report here that says at CBS Sports that they are considering a 3-division, 10 teams in each division, and they only play within their division. So what do you think about
that? So you'd have 3 playoffs and 3 champions?
Well, I think the playoffs would be... Hold on, let me see.
Oh, this is an hour ago. This is
play
recent,
in 3 teams here in 3 divisions in most likely Arizona, Florida, and Texas.
Right.
So that's certainly interesting. There's a lot of baseball love over there, a lot of stadiums.
Yeah, they definitely have to hit a state
what they're thinking
where
for
they got
postseason,
big baseball.
it looks like is... I don't know. I'm looking for it. I don't see what they...
Top 4 teams of each of the 3 divisions will qualify for postseason, meaning 12 teams total. The 4 best teams by winning percentage will each receive a first-round bye. The bottom 8 teams, meanwhile, will be entered into a into 4 one-game playoff, 4 wildcard games, if you will. The rest of the playoffs format best of 5, then consecutive best of 7 series remain the same. Yeah.
All right.
Without
So,
National and American League aspects. So,
oh, frig.
yeah.
I was thinking of something, but I forget what I was going to say. Oh, jeez. Oh, yes. What are your thoughts here on the MLB The Show Players League? Have you been keeping up to date?
So are we talking esports here? Professional esports?
Yes. The Players League. They have one player as a representative from each team, and they all play each team once. Have you been keeping up to date with that?
I haven't, but I think it's a very good idea. I did know. I've been keeping more up to date with the NHL.
What's more is that the season has ended just a few days ago here, and the top 8 players been decided.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you those here in a second.
So what I've seen with the NHL is
doing a lot of NHLers playing. I've noticed Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner have been playing with a Nasher on YouTube.
The YouTube, yeah, that one, and I've seen a lot of the big Gretzky versus Ovechkin. That one, that was a few nights ago, and also so I think they've also been doing just like regular games, like playing them out. I'm not sure, but I've seen a lot of esports has become very popular, and streaming esports and stuff like that. So I've also seen a lot of like wedding
standings up there when you're ready.
Okay, yeah. Just one last thing. I've seen a lot of they get 4 players from the NHL into a Zoom call, and somebody interviews them and stuff like that if they played together or stuff like that. And I've been watching those. They're like 3 to 4 minute clips, but that's been very entertaining and shines a different light on players and stuff like that. So and gets their perspective in it, and I found that very interesting in this time of no sports.
Oh yes, for sure. And the top 8 teams here is Tampa Bay, represented by Blake Snell, who's a lefty starting pitcher. Second place would be Joey Gallo, the Rangers representative. He hits bombs, man, let me tell you. And Blue Jays representative Bo Bichette's in third place, so it's good to see, a Blue Jay doing well, even with the less than average team.
Subpar.
They've certainly beefed it up with the signing of Ryu, and Jeff McNeil for the Mets. He's tied with Bichette, and then it's the Orioles, who's probably one of the worst teams in the league. Their representative Dwight Smith Jr. He is also a former Blue Jay, is in 5th. Then the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the White Sox are next here. And then also tied would be the Yankees guy, Tommy Kahnle. So it's certainly, they got one game left, so they're gonna have to decide who gets into the top 8, and they got the playoffs set for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that's gonna pan out, all the players, and it's kind of cool seeing what they think of if it's realistic ratings wise, their players and all that stuff. It's pretty interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely right now, esports is the way to go, especially if you're really craving that, missing your sports and stuff. And I mean, it's not the same, but there's a lot more predictability and stuff in them, I feel like. But yeah, it's a pretty good way to go. But good segue there, Tyler. You mentioned the Yankees. That's a nice segue into our meme review.
Oh boy.
Here's one that I've added to our list. Whoa! Yankee with no brim. Tyler?
Yeah, it is an outstanding meme. Certainly. It's top notch. It's got everything you could ever want in it, I'd just like to say that it is one of my favorite memes at the moment here.
Yeah, definitely.
That kind of ties in with the Denver Nugget jeans.
Oh, yes.
Which is very similar, a weird style of sports clothing that is worn.
Yeah, we hopped right into it. I'm just going to introduce the segment. So in the segment,
Yankee with no brim!
put in
Hold
some
on, let me
pictures
go
and stuff
around.
and memes that we're looking at.
Let me
and we're
go
just gonna
around
get
this
your
hat.
opinions on memes. Very popular right now, and just have a good laugh and talk about them. So yeah, so recently we've discovered the Yankee with no brim. I find it's the guy's reaction to it, the voice, the guy
Oh yeah,
saying yes.
It certainly adds a nice aspect to it.
That's what first gets me, and then what gets me is the hat. The hat is the second thing that hits me, and then the Denver Nugget jeans is always.
You really have to go around that hat to see it.
Yes, I'll have to insert a clip here of that hat. But so back to our original list, another very very popular meme right now, the coffin dance.
I mean, yeah, it's solid. It's certainly a good one. You know, I don't like it as much as the Yankee with no brim, but it certainly is a staple in the meme community right now. You know, I like the music that plays with it. It's certainly a catchy tune. I find myself humming it in some instances here recently. So, you know, what do you think?
I mean, there's definitely that original version that you were talking about, but there's also, there's several pictures. There's a Facebook friend request one that I found.
Yes, there's been certain variations.
That's been very fun.
Very creative.
Very funny with the, I like that one. I saw one of Kim Jong-un, all that news that's going on over there about his health. That was very funny. Yeah, so that one was very good. I've also seen videos of the coffin dance music in different styles. So, they did, ragtag or what is it? Yeah, something like that for America and, different, regions of the world. Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know, it's an easy meme to laugh at.
In our meme segment, what do you think, you posed the question, Drake memes, have they aged well? I say yes. There's certainly a lot of Drake formats. And, people find different ones. They find new ones. And the old ones, they appear and they don't appear too often. They appear the right amount, and I think they aged well.
I mean, yeah, I like my memes straight to the point and relevant to currently what's going on. And definitely, you are able to do that with every Drake meme.
All right, so, yeah.
Whether you put a different face on there or whatever you do, it's definitely, up there in my favorite meme.
People have certainly made their own variations, even with themselves instead of Drake in certain circumstances.
Yeah, it's one of the best ones in my opinion, and one that I'd like to use a lot when we exchange memes and create our own memes. So it's just a very relatable template, I find, and yeah.
All right, well, you have written here King Neptune. You're going to need to enlighten me a bit on that one. Maybe remind me here. Could you please send me a photograph of said meme?
Tyler, if you'll just scroll down here in our shared notes, it's the third picture, yes. So the one I have posted here is the NFL, their halftime show at MLB 53. Or not MLB 53.
Very many MLB
53. Super Bowl 53. That was not this year, but last year, 2019, when the Patriots won it. And the Dallas Stars playing Sweet Victory. Now, this meme just compares, I don't know. You gotta have to watch the clip from SpongeBob. But it's basically King Neptune prepared all these burgers, and SpongeBob prepared this one Krabby Patty. And I think in the episode, the Krabby Patty's better than all these burgers. And
I can't say I've seen much of those memes floating around here on the internet.
It definitely was very come and go.
I can't offer a professional opinion on it at the moment here. I've got to see more. I'm not sure. Maybe it's been washed up. I don't know.
Well, it came on the scene very quickly and it left very quickly. And
yeah, I certainly haven't seen much of it. So you're going to have to be the judge here for this one.
Well, you have to know the situation with the SpongeBob, so that kind of it's not as relatable in that aspect. But if you do understand the basics behind it, it is a very funny meme, but it can also be if you're very out of the loop. Like I was initially, I forgot about some of the events that happened on here on this one, but if you're in the loop with these memes, they can be a very good template. But I'd give it, like, if I had to rate it out of 10, which I don't really want to be a standard on here, I'd definitely have to give it like a 7. It wasn't the
For that
funniest,
one,
but definitely
I'd
something
say
that catches my
it's a
attention.
4 or a 5. I'm not sure I like that one much. Yankee with no
Yeah,
brim, that gets a 10 out of 10.
yeah, Yankee with no brim and Drake memes get 9 and 10s.
Drake
This
meme
gets
gets
like
an 8. Coffin
this,
Dance, that gets a 7 from my opinion.
yeah, this definitely gets like 5, 6, maybe 6.5. Now that you mention it,
I'm thinking 4 or 5 for this
yeah,
one, but yeah.
maybe, yeah, probably 5.
So what do
For me, it's a
you
little bit
got
better,
next?
probably, but yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
So this is this is probably one of my favorite memes, especially when it's paired to something relatable, like in a school or something like that. So this
Okay.
is the what did I call it here? This is the
Awkward
awkward
monkey.
monkey. So the
Yeah.
monkey in one picture is looking towards, and the other picture is looking away. So this definitely, it's a basic template, but very limited use. I will say that with like Drake and Coffin Dance and one of the memes coming up, you can get a lot of use out of it, and there's a lot of different situations. But this meme, I mean, I love those '90s cartoons and those, Elmo, not Sesame Street, like those style cartoons and all that stuff. So this like appeals to me, but definitely it's a relatable meme, straight to the point. But I will say a
Yes.
downside is there's only a limited number of situations you can use it.
I must ask, what do you give it as a rating?
It's a little bit older, so probably an 8.
I'd
But
give it a 6.
then I don't
I
want.
don't find them that funny, but I do like some of them
Yeah,
are pretty good.
I feel like that's just a difference in our taste when it comes to memes.
Yes, yeah, it is.
But definitely like it's aged all right. It's a little bit older of a meme. It I'm not laughing as hard as it right now, even though I rated an 8. If you send me a really good one, I might rate that one a 10. It really varies from meme to meme, but this template's probably on average an 8. So,
Okay.
so I want to ask you about this next one. It's probably the second most recent one on here.
Okay.
Um, Two girls versus the angry cat.
Oh
Just go lay it all out there.
that's a solid one. I do like these ones. People have made variations to it. It's a bit older now. It's a bit on the stale side, but when it was in its heart, I did enjoy it quite a bit.
I mean, I'd
And
have. Oh, continue.
it's a relatable situation. You know, sometimes you just get in those situations where you don't know what's going on, but somebody's just screaming. I feel like everybody's been in that situation at least once. So, what do you think, Simon Osmond?
I mean, whether it's a screaming situation or just like, two different sides of the coin sort of thing, two different perspectives.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, relatable. It is, it is drying out a little bit. It's kind of gone its distance. But for me, I mean, it's a few months old maybe. What is it, like half year maybe? It was around in like say September. But
Yeah.
it's progressed. Some of them are really good. Initially, I laughed a lot at them. It probably gets, 90% of the time they're really good right now for me because I don't know, some of these memes last longer for me than other people compared to people with taste similar to yours. But yeah, this hasn't really, it's kind of on its way out, but it's not gone yet. So, in my opinion.
Yeah, I found the origin of said meme here. It's from the first time it was posted was May 1st, 2019.
Okay.
It certainly made its rounds since then.
Yeah, it definitely has. So first post was May, so I'd say June we started seeing it big time on a massive scale. And And then
So that means it would be almost a year old.
Yeah, but considering that, it's aged quite well. It's moved into the Facebook now, so it's definitely on its way out compared to what everybody else thinks. But yeah, I liked it. So that's all I got for today for our memes.
All right, Simon.
Anything
I
else
know
to
you
add?
enjoy your next segment here. Go ahead.
So, okay, you want me to introduce this next segment?
I do.
So we have,
Yes.
this segment is specific to me. I really like music. So this is going to be Simon's Songs of the Week. So the title doesn't say it all. So this isn't always going to be a top 10 list or a top 5 list, or it might just be a bunch of songs that I like listening to this week. Like this week, a bunch of songs that I like and find are really good. This just gives me a chance to talk about music, gives us a chance to talk about music. We often find ourselves talking about this. This week you might not, be able to talk about these with me as much, but I'll definitely recommend you listening to them. And I definitely have something to say about each one of them this week. So in the future, I might do albums. I could just do songs. I could do particular genres, whatever, right? I'm pretty open-minded when coming to listen to music. Other than some pop, I'm a little bit touch and go with that. But we'll see. I'll put it out there now. I'm mostly rock, rock, metal, 80s, 90s, pretty much with rock, 60s.
People have different musical tastes, so
Yeah.
if you don't like them, you don't have to listen to them. It's not forcing you.
Oh no, I'm just recommending them because these are great
songs. Just a recommendation, give it a listen, see if you like it,
Yeah, definitely. So basically, from the 60s to early 2000s, love all that rock and stuff, especially the 90s, pop, kind of early 2000s, I like that stuff. 2010 maybe. The newer stuff, not so much, not my fancy. That's the same with, I dabble into country here and there, and, throughout the history, some of the great stuff there, the more popular ones. But yeah, basically just going to talk about music, and I say that's enough rambling for now, and let's just jump right into it with a brand new song from just a legendary band. So this song is called Yes. Living in a Ghost Town by the Rolling Stones. Now the Rolling Stones have been around for 50 plus years, and they're still producing great music. So this is the first song in 7 years that they've released, right? So
really?
Yeah, so I was listening to radio when I first did this one.
It's certainly a relatable song here, Ghost Town.
Considering, yes, and it gets even better when you listen to it. So the Rolling Stones recorded this last year, is what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to release it right now. So
they certainly picked a good time to release it.
They picked a good time. Even though, with any Rolling Stones song, it's pretty much going to be a hit. Mick Jagger does an amazing job. He's got a great voice, and they're just a good band. So it's a new release from an old band, and I really like.
Yes.
The sound of it. It sounds great. I instantly, as soon as I heard it, after maybe the first minute, fell in love with it. It's a great song. It's very relatable, like you said, and yeah.
All right, what's your next song on the list, Simon Osmond?
So, Walk of Life, Dire Straits. Now, 70s, I think the song is, Dire Straits, 70s, 80s. Somewhere's in there. Definitely a upbeat song. It's a Friday cruiser home after you get off work sort of vibe. You're cruising home from work.
You know a lot about that, huh?
Yeah, don't get me started. Yeah, just cruising home from work or cruising over wherever, bright sunny day, whatever. And it's just, easygoing song. It's a good sound to it.
We can't really play these songs or else we get copyright struck.
That's one thing I was trying to... We
would play these songs. We would put these in the video.
I
just
would...
a brief sample.
Yes. So I definitely, I just like this song, upbeat, happy, and I think
It
it's a
is
good
very.
song to listen
I
to
do enjoy that song.
right now.
I must say, every time it comes on the radio, I do vibe. I will say that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just that keyboard or whatever. It's just,
Yeah,
it's just the way it flows.
it's very catchy.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's a nice sound.
Yeah, and I mean, all these songs that I mentioned today have a very specific sound, but it's a sound that appeals to me very strongly, and I feel it just hits the nail on the head sort of thing, right? So, could have been me. Newer
I
song,
can't
but
say I've listened to this one before. I
I
do not know this one.
I feel like you have, but you just got to give it a listen first. Um, the Struts, newer band, releasing newer stuff. I think they started coming out with stuff early 2000, like mid 2000.
All right.
So I first heard this in the summer, I think, last year maybe. So it's definitely a summertime song and kind of just go out there and, gives me summer vibes, but it's also like a go out there and kick butt song. Like it's a motivation song, and I find it relatable, and it's just saying go out there and get it. And yeah, I mean, that's how it makes me feel. It's got a great sound to it, a very modern sound, but also not really poppy. So yeah,
All
but
right.
this is another new release. This has been out for maybe a month or two now.
It's good for Post Malone to really give some credit to this guy. Ozzy Osbourne's the singer. Post Malone really brought him into the spotlight. He was, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
There's
so Ozzy.
yes,
Everybody knows him from
he's a
Crazy
classic,
Train. Everybody knows him from Crazy Train. Nothing.
Everybody knows him from that one.
I say 50% of those people know that he's from the Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And yeah, so I love he's got a great voice. He's had a crazy life. If you just look at his life, it's just been mad. So this one called Under the Graveyard definitely still has, when he was in the 90s, definitely still has that sound. And for the condition he's been in the past few years, it's it's because he was ill, maybe a year ago or so. But yeah, great sound, new song. Definitely love listening to it. Hasn't gotten old yet. Definitely would recommend going to listen to Ozzy's other stuff and checking out him and his life and his background, because it's bizarre.
Check out other songs other than just Crazy Train.
Yeah, well, his just life story of him on the road and it's just crazy. Also, I would mention, just the drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. And his lifestyle.
Those influences on him.
Yeah, so also on that note, I'd like to mention Motorhead. They released a documentary called, I think it's Red Dirt, maybe? I'm not 100% sure, about a year ago. It also highlights that lifestyle. Definitely wouldn't recommend it for people. It's a very sensitive
topic.
Yeah, it's not the best movie for everybody, so definitely take your warnings carefully. It's rated R, I believe, so just be cautious. And yeah, so that's just kind of a extra one I slipped in there. So now this one kind of takes a bit of a different turn from that rock, kind of pop rock.
I can't say I like this genre that you've gone with here for the last song.
This is a great song here. Just hear me out. 90s country is, I want to say the 90s is kind of where I like most of my music comes from. But this is Travis Tritt's Here's a Quarter, Call Someone Who Cares. The story in this, just once I actually listen to it and listen to the story, it just cracks me up every time, and it's basically tells whoever it is to go away and call somebody else and talk to them about their problems, because he doesn't care, right? He's just living his best life sort of thing.
Did he ask?
No, and he didn't ask. So so he's just saying, go talk to somebody who listens, someone who cares, because it's not me. Yeah,
Would the
actually,
person calling him also be Caucasian?
I'm probably.
Well, there's your answer.
Meme reference, nice. But yeah, it's it's a pretty good sound, and I sing along to it, I will admit. But yeah, so that's a little bit of a change up there. So for this week, yeah.
All right. Here, I've come up with a segment here on my own during this podcast here. I call it Tyler's Movies/Shows of the Week. Basically, people got a lot of time on their hands. They love binging,
Yeah.
on Netflix.
I definitely.
Netflix has been a big part of, I'm going to assume, a lot of people's lives here.
I do have something to add about Netflix.
So, all right, I've picked out a few shows. You can certainly add in your show or movie at the end here. Actually, why don't you start out?
Well, the thing with Netflix is I was just going to mention they had a big spike in numbers probably a month ago.
Yeah.
When all of the, 7 weeks, 8 weeks ago, when all this started. So I just wanted to mention that. But definitely, people are starting to get bored of it. But I'm here to listen to your recommendations, and I see you got.
Okay, well, I must add something here. There's some new stuff here. If you say people are getting bored, I've got some new shows. But also some classics.
Oh, I've seen some good classics on here, Tyler. That's for sure. Some of my favorites.
Oh, yes. All right. So let me start out with some of the fresher things here added. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They're on their 7th season, and they've just added the 7th season to Netflix. So if you're not caught up, go ahead. You can binge the first 6 to get to 7th. The 7th season's only 13 episodes long, so if you're past season 6, you got 13 brand new episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine to watch, and they have confirmed that there will be a season 8 of the show too. So it's funny, and I enjoy the show, and it certainly appeals to my sense of humor. Have you ever watched the show, Simon?
I have. I watched the first 6 seasons, and we're gearing up to watch the 7th one here soon. Although right now I'm watching a different show.
Would you like to add?
How I Met Your Mother. That is a great show. My second time watching it. It's pretty good. It's got quite the storyline, and yeah, it's just a group of friends in their 20s and 30s, and living in New York and going about their lives, and it's a comedy, I guess sitcom maybe, but it's pretty funny.
All right.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've watched other shows more than once, I will say that, but Netflix has got some good hits out there.
Yeah, so my next, little addition on this list is the movie Step Brothers. Hilarious film. I thought I'd watched it before. It turns out I didn't, so I went ahead and watched it last night. And let me tell you, hilarious. If you guys haven't seen it, you definitely go and watch it. Well, it's about an hour and 40 minutes long, I think. And it's really funny. I just add that. Have you seen it before?
I have, and I've also watched another movie with those two main actors.
John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell?
Yes, so I watched their Talladega Nights.
They certainly like to be in the same films. They certainly like to film together.
Yes, I watched Talladega Nights. That's a funny movie, but this one tops it. This is unbelievable. Their characters, they're not, the perfect balance of everything in there.
I love how, if you have had siblings growing up, you can certainly relate from this. It's sort of like, they're adults, but they're kids.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much you can relate to these, supposed in the show they're 40 years old. One's 40, one's 39, right? In the show. You'd be surprised how much you can relate to them. Even,
I would like to add,
I'm going to say it's not a family-friendly film.
It definitely isn't.
It is not a family-friendly film.
But it is funny, that's for sure. And I know we've been sending GIFs back and forth, and there's been a couple clips in there. that I really liked and gets me cracked up every time. But even when, so this is a bit of a spoiler, but even when they're kind of like settled
Hey, no
down.
spoilers.
Okay.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
I will say in the middle of the movie it changes from the beginning, and even then it gets good. But then towards the end it changes back to the beginning. But it's such a good movie, and it's just hilarious the whole way through, and I died laughing at it. So. But this next one gets me going even more, Tyler.
Oh, I know.
Please
Simon,
introduce
I
it.
know. Yes. I've watched this show a few months ago, maybe. I'd say I finished it 4 or 5 months ago. It's The Office, the U.S. version.
Only 4 or 5
Simon
months ago.
absolutely adores The Office. You know what? I'll let you take it from here, Simon. Go ahead.
You know what? Let me go on a tangent. Well,
Yeah.
let's see.
I might have to stop you, but
yeah.
go for now.
So why do I don't know. This show is just, it's relatable. I watched it for the first time 2 years ago. I started watching it, and I rewatched it again in the fall.
I know I started watching it because I saw you watch it. That's how I started to watch it, and
yeah,
it's very funny.
So
funny
I want to
film
say
show.
John Krasinski. He has become one of my favorite actors, and right now he's doing a very big thing called Some Good News. He's got his own
I've
YouTube.
Yep.
I don't know what to say about that. That's just such a good. During these times, that's such a good way to contribute because there's so many people down, especially the younger age group. He's getting into his 40s now, but he still has that very like late teens, early 20s.
His film that he was directing, A Quiet Place 2, got delayed because of the virus. It was set to premiere, I'd say 1 or 2 months ago, but it didn't happen due to the virus. So
very excited about that because I've also watched The Quiet Place.
It sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, you've watched the first one?
Yes, I
haven't seen
have.
The first one. Can't say I have.
He's such a good actor, and he's so funny. And I've also watched another film on Netflix with him in it, and also on my Amazon Prime.
Oh, I know what you're watching there.
Jack Ryan is on my list to watch there, yeah. So definitely he's one of my favorite actors, and he's just, I don't know, he's got that, late teens, early 20s, kind of pranky, but yet he's super sweet towards all of his significant others in it.
If you haven't watched The Office yet, what are you doing?
Really. You might as well just get out of here. But please don't. Please stay around.
Steve Carell is great.
Steve Carell.
In The Office. He plays a great Michael Scott, I must say. I couldn't picture anybody else but him in the role of Michael Scott. I couldn't picture anybody else but the cast they had in the roles of anybody. Everybody was very terrific in the film. It certainly was subpar in the final few seasons, season 9 especially, I'd say. But the finale was great. How it kind of wrapped everything up. I enjoyed the ending.
I feel like
The Office.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely is one of the last shows that you'll get those kinds of jokes. But definitely
with everything just being everything's offensive to somebody nowadays.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time this just, I don't know, it ticks all the boxes for what I find funny. And the jokes I find funny.
It's cringeworthy at parts.
But, it's relatable.
Exactly.
Even though
I know Scott's Tots, I couldn't stand watching that episode. It's certainly one of the most cringeworthy episodes of the series, probably the most.
The emotions of the characters, and a lot of the characters really portrayed the role well. Like they took it on as their own. And the emotions are just so relatable of the characters, and it's definitely got its drama in it, but it's not too much. And it's got its comedy, and it's got its pranks, and it's got its seriousness. So, very good. I also would like to mention Stanley Hudson, one of my favorite characters on there. He's pretty funny. Steve Carell, the Anchorman, he was in that movie. That's also a very good movie.
Yeah, with Will Ferrell and...
Yes, and Todd Packer. I forget who plays that, but Todd Packer's in it. Yeah, so that's a good movie, and yeah, I don't know how I get too hung up and steal the show here, Tyler. But
all right, yeah. I mean, it's all right. I'll let you have a tangent about your favorite show.
I mean, it's one of my best, and it's got some of my favorite actors. John Krasinski is one of my favorite. Tom Hanks, also a lot of movies with him in it that I really liked.
All right.
Not The Office, and there's a couple
Well, here's
others
my
that I
final
can't think
show for at least right now that I'm going to mention is Jeopardy. You know, it's a fun show. It's fun to play along. You know, you can do it with your family. You can do it by yourself. I enjoy watching episodes, seeing, you know, if I'd make money or if I'd get utterly destroyed. And it's certainly a fun show to test your trivia, test your knowledge here in this time. Especially since the lack of schooling.
Well, also, it's just appeals to our personal interests, I find. Also, a local has been on the show from the St. John area.
Yep.
We
know him. We know him personally.
I know him very well. His whole family, actually. I know most of his family.
I know him well, too.
All right. So that was yeah, I like Jeopardy. Jeopardy's good. Sometimes I don't know. I haven't really watched it on Netflix, but I'll catch the odd question here and there. Another one that we've seen a lot lately is Family Feud and Family Feud Canada. Definitely big hits, along with you know, those game shows. What is it? The Price is Right. Bob Barker. That's a good show too.
Jeez, I was kicked from the chat.
Oh, there's a little bit of lag there, yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Drew Carey's hosting now. The Price is Right. I think.
Yeah.
I've been liking to watch. Let's Make a Deal here, hosted by Wayne Brady. He's certainly a very funny and talented host of that show, and he's very witty, I must add.
Yeah, another one is AFV, although I haven't seen it in recent years.
It was certainly in its golden years with Tom Bergeron.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
The new one is funny, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the new host is also on How I Met Your Mother. But definitely, it's still funny. Tom Bergeron, I don't know, it's just something about, I grew up with that sort of thing, kind of deal. Same thing with Don Cherry on hockey. Although we'll get into that situation in a different episode.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I can't spill all the secrets right now. That's for sure. So yeah, that's a pretty good list for this week, Tyler. I really enjoyed it.
I think it was fun.
Yeah.
I appreciate our two men who have stayed and listened. One of them is since logged.
Yes.
And but I appreciate our friend Matt who stayed.
Yeah. So.
And listened to our rambling. Not sure why, but you know.
Definitely a ramble.
It's fun.
It's just fun to get it out there. So.
It's fun to finally talk and interact.
Well, this is just a fun project. We've done one like this before. Last year.
It got started. I'll tell you the origin story. I'll tell them the origin story. And then
story time. I like story.
Right?
Yeah, and then we can definitely
We'll end it
up
up with this, all right? Because I feel like we've been going for about an hour now, I think.
It's been quite a while.
Can you check the time on the recording?
Yeah, it's getting up there in time, yeah.
Okay.
We're 58 minutes, so...
58?
Yes.
All right, I'll tell them the origin story, and then we'll
wrap it up.
Yes. So the origin story is cut to last year, grade 10 English class.
Fall? I want to say?
Yes, it was in the fall.
October? November?
I'd say October. No, I think it was October.
Yeah, because I think in November we did that other project with CalJ. The abuse one, yeah. Anyways, continue.
Right. Yes, so what was the project?
So we did a podcast on a current situation. Well, at the time, current situation.
Oh, yes, that's what we had to do.
And we did it within the school system, and we did it with New Brunswick News. So
we did it. I know we did a big part of it was the
new policy change. Do you remember?
Policy 711.
Yeah, the policy change.
Yeah, that was a big. That was a big topic. That that time we did it, and that's where we got the name from. And we've gone from there, and we've decided to get it going again as something to do during this time of quarantine and boredom, really.
Yeah,
I'm certainly getting into routines here that I'm not sure I like. I've just been a lot of video
Tyler.
games.
Yeah, a lot of video games, a lot of Netflix.
Yeah, it's not very healthy, I don't think, but it's good to to talk and to do something, to interact.
Yes.
With people other than your family, because you go crazy.
Yes, I do enjoy it quite a bit. This has been a very, all the work we put into it so far. I find this, I don't know. I've never really been one for entertaining and doing presentations and stuff like that, but I really do enjoy it, I must say, and putting in together, projects and stuff. And I hope we can have a very good run at this. And yeah, I just think this is a good thing to do.
Well, it certainly went longer this week, not week. I'm not gonna say week because I'm not sure how frequent
this episode.
Yeah, this episode certainly gone longer than
we expected.
Yes.
Well, once you get me going, it's pretty. Yeah, the time just flies away.
Thank you for listening here, and tune in for next time. Really, subscribe.
Like,
if
subscribe.
You haven't already, like the video.
Hit the notification bell.
All our socials and stuff.
Notification bell. Instagram link will be in the description. Discord link will be in the description.
Discord,
feel free to add ideas
into our next broadcast. We have a nice fan idea page. Simon, you should flash a picture up of that when you're.
Yes, I'll definitely get a screen snippet of that.
There's nothing of it in it right now, but as long as you guys join, you can add stuff. And Simon and I do have an idea center where you guys can react to what you think is right. Oh, we have an entry into the Fan Ideas channel.
Oh, Tyler.
It's a 4-letter word with P's on the end, and oh boy.
Okay.
But anyways, we'll show you a picture of what we see at this time.
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay. Maybe not.
No.
Maybe not.
All right.
No.
So
it's funny.
We'll be monitoring.
Catch you on the flip side, huh?
Yeah, we will. Again, like, subscribe, comment. Feel free to follow our social medias, Instagram, Discord, link in the description. Again, Instagram is new_Buzzwick_podcast.